I'm Mary Beth Imbarrato, and my passion is project management. And my mission is to share the power of project management with assistants worldwide. And in this session, we're going to focus on the steps you can take to organize your new project. There are several critical steps at the very beginning of a project that can set you up for success. Now, we know that many of you are already leading projects, and we certainly don't have to ask why. As an assistant, you have those core skills that are vital to the success of a project. Organizational skills, time management skills, you have those communication skills, and you can track down anything. You already have a strong foundation in place for project work. And in this session, I'm going to share some of the steps you can take to leverage those skills and promote your project management practices in your role. By using some of the tools and templates I'll be introducing you to in this session, you will be on your way to establishing your own project management system. It will be your unique process for kicking off projects and demonstrating your capabilities for leading projects and project teams. You'll be setting yourself up for a successful project journey by building your own unique system that will elevate your level of confidence, consistency, and repeatability. Another incredible benefit that you'll have from learning this skill set will be the ability to volunteer for project work in your organization, in your community, with your volunteer organization, at the school, at home. By tackling new and exciting projects, you will be opening the door to new opportunities, new learning, and professional growth. You are setting yourself up for success and a future of unlimited potential. And the next time someone asks you if you can lead a project, your answer will be, "You bet I can. Let me show you how." And that's your opportunity to introduce them to your project management system with your processes, your checklists, and the project charter, which I will introduce to you in this session, and other templates that your organization may have. You are well on your way with your project management journey. So, are you with me? If you just got a new project, let's get going. Now, more and more organizations are absorbing projects. That means that you may be asked to lead a project while also being responsible for your day job. Now, that can be challenging. So let's make sure you have the information you need to make this project run smoothly. Now, all projects should begin with the initiation process. The initiation process focuses on understanding what the project's about, what the project will deliver, and who's going to benefit from the project. So our very first step in this process is going to be to confirm that it's really a project. I know this may sound crazy, but stick with me. I'm sure you've noticed that the term project is used a lot. It's used in schools and the community. It's used at work. It's used with your volunteer organization. We use it at home. A lot of people are using the term project for work that may not really be a project. So, if we're going to set a solid foundation for your project, we need to determine if it is in fact a project. Now, the reason why this is important is because it will determine what your next step is. So we want to make sure that we've got that definition locked down. So let's start with the definition of a project. A project is defined as a temporary endeavor with a beginning and an end that produces a unique product, service, or result. Now, there are a couple key terms there: temporary, beginning and an end, and a unique product, service, or result. Now, a good example of this scenario would be one of those projects that keeps going on and on and on. It never ends. Have you ever worked on one of those projects? Although there could be a number of reasons why the project just doesn't end, it may be because it's not a project. Projects are temporary and they should have a defined end. So if you're involved in a situation like this, I would encourage you to apply this definition to the project and see if it aligns with the definition. If it doesn't meet the definition, then that could trigger a discussion with the project team. Now that we have the definition and we've confirmed that you have a project that's sitting on your desk or you just got a new project, let's move on to step 2. Now in step 2, we're going to be digging a little deeper to find out more about the project. And we're going to want to find out what the project's about, why the project is important, and who benefits from the project. Is it the customers, the community, the organization? Who's going to benefit from this project? Other questions could include, will I be working with somebody on this project? Who will I be working with? Has a project team been identified? Has a schedule for the project been determined? If so, are there any critical dates that need to be met? Now, I just provided you with several questions that you can ask to get a better understanding of the project. Now, to get these answers, we need to track down someone who knows about the project. The person may be identified as the project sponsor. Now, the project sponsor is usually the person who has ultimate responsibility over the project. You may be the project lead, but they're going to be the manager, supervisor, leader, executive. They're going to be the one who has ultimate responsibility over the project. That's the person who you want to speak with. Sometimes, most of the time, it's usually the person who handed you the project. So ask them if they have time to meet with you so that you can get their insights into the project by asking some of these questions. And another question that you can ask when meeting with the project sponsor is, when we successfully deliver this project, what does it look like to you? Now, again, the question is, when we successfully deliver this project, what does it look like to you? Now, that's a pretty powerful question, and it may take some time and some consideration on the part of the project sponsor to answer the question. But I find it really beneficial because once I have the answer to the question, I will fully understand what their expectations are of the project. Their answer will provide me with a vision of what they're expecting once we deliver this project. And that's important to me as the project lead because now I can share that vision with the project team so that we all have the same understanding of what the project sponsor is looking for and what the project sponsor is expecting. So this discussion with the project sponsor will kick off a valuable and meaningful initiation process. And once we have the answers to your questions, once you have the answers to your questions, it's important to the process that we document those answers in a project charter. That's the third step of the process. So step 3 includes creating the project charter, which is a one-page document that provides a high-level summary of the project and includes information like the project name, the objectives, the project scope, what's in the project, what's out of the project, and what the project will deliver. And it includes answers to the questions that you just asked of the project sponsor. The project charter, in my opinion, is one of the most valuable documents associated with a successful project. It establishes a strong foundation for your project by providing a clear and concise definition of what the project's about. It's a one-page document that can be shared with the project team, colleagues, management, leaders, stakeholders. It will introduce them to the new project and what the objectives are. As an example, I have a client who was so excited about using the project charter that she completed the document for all 6 projects that were sitting on her desk. She then made copies and hung them on the outside of her cubicle so that anyone walking by could read about the projects that she was working on. She also took a copy of the project charter for one of the high priority projects that she was working on, and she hung it by the coffee pot in the employee lounge. She really took the project charter exercise to a new level, especially in her organization, and she elevated the level of visibility of her projects, all through the use of the project charter. Because you may be aware of the fact that there are projects taking place all throughout your organization, and you may not be aware of them. You're only aware of the projects that you're working on, or that your close colleagues or your team members are working on. But there are projects everywhere. We're surrounded by projects. Now, another client had a different approach for sharing the project charter. They created a Slack channel inside their organization for project charters. As new projects were identified, the project lead would post the project charter into that Slack channel as a means to share the project with the rest of the organization. Everyone in the organization would get an alert saying that there's a new project charter that's been posted. So they could go to the Slack channel and read the new project charter if they chose to. But these are good examples of how a project charter can be shared with the organization and the importance of using a project charter. The project charter establishes that strong foundation by providing that clear and concise definition of what we're working on, what this project involves. If you have that strong foundation, then you can build the project on top of that. But if you don't have that strong foundation, then what you build on top of that foundation won't be as steady. So we want to make sure that we have that foundation in place. And there are additional benefits to using the project charter with the project team. By sharing the completed project charter with the project team, you'll be helping the team members understand what the project's about, what the objectives are, and how they are going to be involved with the project, how their expertise is going to be used. And that's critical to the success of the project. If the project team doesn't understand what the project's about, how can they be successful? How can they all be working toward the same goal when there's confusion about what the goal is or where the goal is? We don't want this for our projects. We want to set ourselves and the project team up for success. So let's make sure that the project team has the information they need to effectively collaborate on all of these activities and meet the goals of the project. As an example of this scenario, I often get calls from clients asking me to help them with a project that is either stalled or it's just gone off the rails and they really need help. So one of the first things I ask for when I walk into that client's office, I ask for a copy of the project charter. That's when I'm usually told that they didn't create a project charter. And that sets off an alert in my mind that there's probably some confusion about the project. So I need to find out more about the project and about the project team. So I begin chatting with the project team members, individually. I chat with them about the project, what they're doing. And one of the questions I ask of all the project team members, what are the objectives of this project? And this is usually when I begin to uncover the extent of the issue. The individuals on the project team have a different understanding of what the project's about and what the goals are. So again, if the project team has to work collaboratively in order to achieve the goals of the project, how can they do that when they don't have a clear understanding of what the project is about or what the end goals are? That's not a successful model. How can anyone be successful in that type of an environment? As a follow-up, my next step with the clients that are in this situation is to sit down with the project lead and the project sponsor and to create a project charter based on the questions that I just shared with you. Then we schedule a project team meeting to review the project charter and discuss the status of the project thus far and how we can get the project work back on track by aligning it with the charter. This scenario illustrates how the project charter is used to lay that solid foundation. And we need that solid foundation when we're kicking off a project. We need to make sure that we have everyone rowing in the same direction. So let's provide them with the information they need to work collaboratively in order to achieve the goals of the project. And you can easily accomplish that. So I recommend scheduling a project kickoff meeting with the project team once the project charter's been completed. And this meeting is the perfect occasion to discuss the project in more detail. So the agenda for the meeting will include a review and a discussion of the project charter, because we want to make sure everyone's got the same understanding. And we want to discuss the charter. Are there any questions about our goals and objectives and what the end goal is? Does everyone understand what we'll be working on as a team? What the goals are? Are there any concerns about the project? Do you foresee any challenges with respect to the project? We want to provide the opportunity for the team members to engage in a discussion about the project. And this meeting is also a good opportunity to review roles and responsibilities of the project team members, how the project team will work together, and some of the work-related details of the project. For instance, who might be impacted by this project? How will they be impacted? Do you see any risks that may arise based on the project work or the goals? The project kickoff meeting can be incredibly valuable to the project team members. As project leads, we want to make sure that we're providing them with the information they need to be successful in their roles. And by engaging them in these discussions, we will be providing them with the ability to ask questions, share experiences with similar projects, and help make decisions about the project team. Most importantly, by engaging the project team members early and often, you'll be elevating their level of commitment and contribution to you, the project, and the organization. Now, I've certainly shared a lot with you in this session. So let me summarize some of the points to the initiation process and the 3 steps that I encourage you to consider when a new project lands on your desk. In summary, there are 3 vital actions that you can begin to use immediately. These steps will help you leverage those core skills that you already have and elevate the level of success with your projects. Step 1, project definition. Does the project meet the litmus test? Is it really a project? If yes, move on to step 2. If no, then I would suggest that that might trigger a discussion with the project team. Step 2, the project details. Determine who the project sponsor may be. Who knows the most about this project? Do they have time for a discussion? At the very least, we want to find out who, what, when, and why of the project. Once we have that information, we can move on to step 3. Completion of the project charter to document the answers you've received from the project sponsor and to share the details of the project with the project team. The project charter is important for a number of reasons, and it's also included in the project communication plan. Now, these are the 3 project management steps that I believe will help you to organize and prioritize your assistant workload. Now, along with these 3 steps, I want to leave you with some recommendations and some optional activities. Start the discussion. Begin to discuss with your colleagues, your team, some of your friends. Chat about this session and what you learned, what resonated with you and why. Discuss how projects unfold in your organization today and how you can introduce new ideas to improve that process. Document your project process by using Visio, Lucidchart, or PowerPoint. The project process map will provide a visual depiction of how the project will unfold. You may want to start by drawing out the existing project process in your organization so that you can discuss any gaps or challenges with the current approach. This will be a good starting point for a discussion on how the process can be improved. Determine what your unique project process would look like. Starting with the initiation process, what would some of your next steps be? And consider creating a project toolkit, which will be your go-to resource for all things project related. It will include the process map that you created, your checklists, the project charter template, and sample agendas for project team meetings, and other templates that may be associated with your organization. Having a project toolkit will enable you to have a one-stop shop for your new projects. This will also be part of your unique project management system, which is a sustainable source of project management tools and templates. Consider establishing a personal lessons learned journal that you can use to reflect upon your project experiences. I use my project journal as a reference tool for new projects. And if you're leading projects today, begin documenting some of the responsibilities that you have as a project lead. If your organization does not have a role description for project lead, start one. Start today. And don't forget to continue your own project journey by participating in projects internally, volunteering for project work, shadowing other project leads or project managers, and taking online courses in project management, leadership, and organizational management. I want to leave you with this statistic from the Project Management Institute, or PMI. Their research indicates that 87.7 million people will be working on projects by the year 2027. Congratulations to all of you for taking an important step in your learning journey to prepare yourself for the future of work. Now, I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to further discuss any of these topics.